Hello everybody, it's B from B Sweat Crafts and welcome to my channel. Today's card I'm using Sizzix Thinlits 664225. It's a mountain scene which I've cut out twice. I've made it dimensional. I've also used these little gummy pan birds that are on the right hand side just to add that little bit of extra interest. I'm also going to be using some Wink of Stella on the mountain tops, which I haven't actually done yet on this part. I did it as an afterthought. The voiceover isn't in sync with the video because I'd done it and I was waffling, so I've just got rid of that and doing another one. So I'm going to do the voiceover now for the making of the card, and I will talk to you in a second. I was just looking to see whether I was going to use that little mini embossing folder that I got with my Sizzix side kit for Christmas, where I was going to put that put the mountains through it, but I decided against it. So I'm using coloured cardstock, which is not something that I normally do. I have got coloured cardstock, but I don't know why I don't normally do it. It's probably a lot easier to do this, and then you can blend the colours in as you want. I have sped it up a little bit, simply because it's just doing the same sort of thing, just sticking the various parts down. That bit's wrong, as I'll realise in a minute. It goes on top of that bit. You go, oh, yep. There we go. Fortunately, I hadn't stuck down properly for me to stick it down. There you go. And the little pieces that go on the top, they just add that little bit of extra dimension to the shape of the card. So that's what literally is just one put together. So I'm going to speed through this one a lot faster, so you're just not watching the same thing again. Although when I've just looked at the timings of it, it did only take 30 seconds, but when you sat watching it doing a voiceover, the 30 seconds seems like a lifetime. I hope everybody doesn't mind me doing the fast forwarding. I'm still having problems with the internet. I think we're going to have to change eventually. So now I'm just using different shades of very, very pale grey. So there's the colour that I'm showing you. And you can't really see that, that's sped up a little bit too much for it, but they are very pale cool greys and blue greys that I'm putting on, and then just blending them through so you don't get any harsh lines. I'm not sure whether this blender's drying out a little bit actually. I think I've got some more in my stash. I'm going to have to look it out because it doesn't seem to be blending away that well. Although I do use it an awful lot, I would have thought it would be last longer than it has done, but like I say, I do use it an awful lot. So I do like these mountain scenes, and I think once you start using the odd bits, as of this bit now, it's just adding just little bits of different elements, because I didn't want them to look identical, obviously, which in nature you're never going to get them looking exactly the same. So I'm just adding bits of shade under where the snow is. My colours are at the left hand side of me, so when I'm pausing like that, I'm just looking left to see what colours that I want. And you can see that I've sort of like just scribbled on it because I didn't want it to have an overall one colour. I wanted it to be sort of like a mottled, as it were, shading, sort of blending, and then just sort of like wisping it up. I can't remember how long I've had this die set. I've used it quite a lot. But I think once you start putting your shading on it, it really does start to accentuate the different shapes that are there on it. So I'm going to play you a little bit of music just while I'm doing this, and enjoy this little bit of colouring in. And I hope you agree that once I've put those extra little bits on, it makes an awful lot of difference. And looking on the black background, it was just to see the shapes. I'm going to cut the edges off of it, but they've come out quite well. I'm pleased with the way they have come out. So now I'm just using the different blues. They're the Distress Oxide brushes, and I'm just using whatever's left on them because I don't want a really dark colour for the sky. And if you've got your brushes, if you remember, if you're new to card making, please get a separate set for both your oxides and your normal distresses, because you don't want to cross-contaminate them both. You don't have to have a brush for each colour as well, you just have a brush for each colour family. But I got a bargain when I got mine, because I was ordering quite a bit of stuff from Craft Stash, and they were doing a set of, I think, 12 brushes with every £30 that you spent, and I knew I was going to be spending more, so I put several orders in, and I got, I don't know, 3 sets, I think. So if that's, if you see a bargain like that, then you've got to do it that way as well. So there we are, the cards coming together. I'm just doing a little bit of a sunshine in there. A little bit of sun. I love the shape of these trees. and just using various different greens, but I've gone more for the sagey colours rather than a deep rich green. So I've put, there's 5 on there, a couple of that I've put up on foam tape, just to add that little bit of dimension to them, and doing the brown around the edges as well as for the trunks, just to give that extra little bit of dimension to it, and going over it again with the green, just to blend the brown in, just so it's not an obvious mark on there. So I think this card took about an hour and 20 to make, but most of that was making up the mountains itself. And I get this foam tape from Sticks To. I think it's about £8.99 a roll, and it obviously lasts forever. It's a huge roll. It's a bit difficult to manhandle when you first get it because it is so big, but it's the one I always use. I'm always looking for as well the slightly wider one, but I can never find it on that site. I shall have to have a really good look. So that's trimmed that off, and it's almost finished. So now I'm going to use my Colop eMark Create little hand printer, which as you all know, I use it all the time. If you're interested in this, have a look on in my description. I've got links to everything that I've used. So I'm just going to print this out, and I'm going to put Happy Birthday Jacob and to our grandson. I really do highly recommend this little printer. And I've said on previous videos, when this one is done, I will definitely get another one. It's an expensive piece of kit, but we've had big printers before and the inks just dry out. I don't use them enough, where I use this all the time. So I'm just making sure that the wording's absolutely perfect on it, and then using a matting layer. So the card panel itself is 5 1/4 by 5 1/4. The matting layer is 5 1/2 by 5 1/2, and the card base itself is 5 3/4 and 5 3/4, just over 5 3/4. So I'm using Collall glue to stick it down. I've put the sentiment and the sub-sentiment on the foam tape. I always put a little bit of glue on the back of it, just so it gives you that little bit of extra wiggle room. And I think you might agree when you see the card, because that's the finished card, that when it's done, it does need those extra little bits of the bird. So I am pleased I put them on. So thank you for watching, everybody. There's today's card, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye for now, everybody. Bye.